Today on the Ask BP podcast, we're talking about what is the minimum equity spread that I'll buy a property for. Stay tuned.
You're listening to another Bigger Pockets Ask BP podcast, where you'll hear short, direct answers to your biggest real estate questions. Submit your question today on Facebook, Twitter, or the Bigger Pockets forums by using hashtag AskBP. And don't forget to pick up your copy of The Ultimate Beginner's Guide to Real Estate Investing and other great content when you sign up for your free account at biggerpockets.com. With that, let's get to the show.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Brandon here with the Ask BP podcast, and today we're talking about the idea of how much equity should you have in a property. And the question actually comes from Anatoly from Charlotte, North Carolina, and Anatoly asks, Brandon, what is the minimum equity spread that you will buy a property at? So Anatoly, let me try to break this down. And before I do, let me explain exactly what he means here. So first of all, the idea of an equity spread is the difference between how much you owe on a property and how much that property is worth. And so, for example, if you owe $50,000 on a property and it's worth $80,000, you have $30,000 of equity. So the question he's wondering is, when you go to buy the property, how much equity should you plan on having in there? What kind of a good deal? Like, how good is a good deal? What are you trying to buy? So first of all, this question is a little bit difficult because it's changing in my life quite a bit. And so where it used to be is different than where it's going. Let me explain what I mean. When I first started out, all I cared about was cash flow. That was it. 100% cash flow. I didn't care about anything else because when I was young and I was starting, my only goal was to quit my job and not have to work a typical 9-to-5 day job. And so all I wanted was enough cash flow. So for me, equity didn't matter. I hardly even looked at it. I just said, I want to make sure that I have good cash flow coming in every single month. And that's how I started. Now, today, it's a little different. Now I got the cash flow that I wanted. And so now I'm thinking long term. How do I actually build greater wealth? And cash flow is still very important. Don't get me wrong. Very, very important. However, I'm trying to achieve, I guess, longer, greater wealth through appreciation and through the cash flow combined and all the tax benefits and the loan pay down and all that stuff together. So I'm looking at it a little bit bigger than maybe I used to in the past. So what's the minimum equity spread? Today, I typically like to try to get, after everything's said and done in a property, after the mortgage has been paid, after the loan, after all that stuff, the equity that I have, I want to have at least 30%. In other words, let's just say there was a property, for simple numbers, we'll say there's $100,000, it's worth $100,000. At the end of the day, after everything's said and done, I don't want to be in that property any more than $70,000. Now, why do I pick that number? Here's why. Most banks will let you refinance, meaning get a new loan, for 70% of the value. And so, as such, what I'm trying to do is I want to make sure I standard that, so if I needed to refinance the property, I could, because I have that equity in there. So I bought a property recently. I paid $70,000 for it. I'll put in about $30,000 by the time I'm done. I'll have $100,000 total. And that property is going to be worth somewhere between probably $140,000 to $150,000. And so I've got that 70% value in there that I can go to the bank and I can go get a refinance on it. I can also, if I needed to, it gives me plenty of room to sell that property if I had to. Because there's lots of equity there, I can take a steep discount and still make a profit on it. And you might think that's impossible to find, the 70%, but it's really not. Flippers do it all the time. The 70% rule basically says when you're going to go flip a house, make sure you go get 70% of the value minus the repair costs. I'm a landlord. I'm doing the exact same thing. And when I flip houses, I'm doing the exact same thing. Now, keep in mind that is just a rule of thumb. It's not a rule that you have to follow, but the 70% rule of thumb is pretty helpful. So, Anatoly, hopefully that helps in understanding how much equity spread that I personally look for. What about you? What do you guys look for in equity? Make sure you leave a comment here and let me know. Also, if you've not yet left a rating or review for this show, I hope you'll do that as well. Just let the iTunes world, if you have iTunes, let them know what you think of this. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Let's get out of here. Today's success quote of the day is from Tony Robbins. And Tony Robbins says, "One reason so few of us achieve what we truly want is that we never direct our focus. We never concentrate our power. Most people dabble their way through life, never deciding to master anything in particular." I find that so true. I got a friend right now who's trying to get a job at this company, this startup, and he really wants it. And so he focused his energy 100% into doing this. And so he went and flew out with about a one-way ticket to fly out and meet with the CEO, knowing that he was going to get this job. When he got there, he met with the guy, and the CEO basically said, look, if you can get 10 people to sign up for our service, that'll be a good test to see if you're going to be a good fit here. So what did he do? Within 22 hours, it was like 22 hours and 31 minutes, he timed it, he got 50 people to sign up because he put all his focus and energy into what he wanted. So I'll turn that on you. What do you want? What are you looking for? What are you directing your focus to? Is it to invest in rental properties, to flip a house, to quit your job? Whatever it is, direct your focus. And like Tony Robbins says, it's one of the few reasons people actually achieve a success. So hopefully you can be different than that. For the Ask BP podcast, we're getting out of here. Just remember, in pursuit of your goals and dreams, don't just learn, but take action. This is Brandon, signing off.
You've just heard another episode of the Bigger Pockets Ask BP podcast. Submit your question today on Facebook, Twitter, or the Bigger Pockets forum by using hashtag AskBP. And for more incredible real estate investing tools and education, including a free download of our book, The Ultimate Beginner's Guide to Real Estate Investing, head over to biggerpockets.com and sign up for your free account today. We'll see you on the next show.